Good morning, readers. It is release day for He Was Deceived, book number 18 in the Zachary Goldman Mysteries series. When a grieving widower uncovers clues that suggest his wife's death 10 years earlier was no accident, he turns to private investigator Zachary Goldman for help in unraveling the truth. Readers are loving this for the twists and turns, the red herrings, the political intrigue. So if you are interested in private investigator mysteries, checking out a cold case this time, then check out He Was Deceived. Kim says, a gripping story of political intrigue and suspicious deaths. The investigation is anything but straightforward as Zachary uncovers one potential suspect after another. I was thoroughly captivated by the story, and except for a few short and annoyingly unavoidable breaks, I could not put the book down. I had to know where the clues would lead next. I love this series as it always delivers a gripping mystery, lots of suspense, plenty of twists and turns, interesting, original characters, and an underlying message of hope, resilience, and steadfast perseverance to face any challenge that comes your way. That's a lot of bang for your buck. Rosemary says, as always, P.D. Workman has an expert way of drawing the reader quickly into Zachary's mindset and the somewhat circuitous way he comes to the right conclusion along a path strewn with red herrings and revelations. Be sure to get a copy of He Was Deceived as soon as it hits the bookstore. To miss it would really be a crime. Candy says, I love this series and this book is a great addition. Zachary has his work cut out as he looks into a cold case. I love these characters and can't wait to see what happens next for him and Kenzie. And T. Olson says, another very good PI procedural by this author showing why the police aren't always right. As usual, the book is easy to read, entertaining, and has great characters. Thanks for the reviews. Okay, this is a release day reading from He Was Deceived, book number 18 in the Zachary Goldman Mysteries series. Zachary gazed out the front window at a delivery truck moving slowly down the street. He couldn't help but feel anxious when he saw a courier. The last package that had been delivered to him had not been what he'd expected. It would be a while before he could feel the same excitement and anticipation opening a box or envelope left on his doorstep. You okay? Kenzie asked. Zachary swallowed. He nodded and forced a smile. Yeah, sure, I'm good. She evaluated him, her dark eyes serious and her bright red lips pursed. She nodded slowly, her dark curls bouncing a little, a movement that always made him want to touch it and wind the curls around his fingers. But he refrained, turning his attention to the breakfast preparations. Coffee is on, he told her, though he wasn't even sure whether he had turned on the machine or she had. I'll pop some toast in for you. He noticed the smell of toasting bread mixing with that of the coffee. Obviously, one of them had already done that job, too. He got out plates and cutlery and found her marmalade in the fridge. Where are you going this morning? Kenzie asked. He hadn't told her he was going out anywhere, but she could tell from his shirt, a button-up shirt rather than just a t-shirt or polo, that he was planning to meet with someone today. He didn't dress up for computer work, going for a walk or running errands, or for a surveillance job unless he was positioning himself in an office building or somewhere such an outfit would blend better than his usual work uniform. Meeting with a potential client. Not sure yet what kind of case it is. He anticipated her next question. He didn't want to discuss anything over the phone, and I like to meet with possible clients face-to-face in the beginning. Remote work and communicating electronically are fine, a convenient way to run a case, but I like to get a read on a person before I accept the job. You never know what you could be getting into otherwise, Kenzie suggested. Yeah, surveilling a possible adulterous spouse is one thing, but if the guy is just looking for information, but if he's lying and is really an abuser trying to find an ex who's hiding from him, Kenzie nodded, understanding, as she poured each of them a cup of fresh coffee. Can you always tell, though? I'm pretty good at reading people. That doesn't mean I don't ever make mistakes, but if I'm not sure, I'll turn the case down. Say I'm too busy to give their case the attention it needs right now. So someone else gets the job. Well, Zachary didn't like to think that he was only delaying the abusive husband finding his runaway wife. Still, it wasn't like he could do anything to keep the man from hiring a private investigator who didn't have the same scruples or intuition as Zachary. If he were determined to find his wife, there wasn't much Zachary could do other than refuse the work himself. Hopefully, he's so disappointed by my refusal that he can't bring himself to approach another PI, he told Kenzie. You can see how crushing that would be. Kenzie chuckled. She took a sip of her coffee. The toast popped and Zachary buttered it before putting it on Kenzie's plate and grabbing a yogurt cup for himself. Yes, that would definitely be a consideration, Kenzie agreed. I can't imagine what it would be like to be turned down by you. Zachary tried to figure out whether there was any secondary meaning to her statement, but decided just to take it at face value. He sat down across from Kenzie and opened his yogurt cup. He usually had a yogurt cup or a granola bar for his breakfast with Kenzie. He was more in the mood for a granola bar today, but didn't want to unwrap one with Kenzie watching him. The noise of the crinkling wrapper was like fingernails on the blackboard, and he wouldn't be able to hide his grimace from her. She was already watching him closely enough without his giving her something else to worry about. Do you think it's wise? Kenzie asked. Zachary looked at her, uncertain. He'd probably missed something else she'd said and lost the thread of the conversation. Taking on a new client right now, Kenzie said slowly. I mean, this time of year? So close to Christmas. She tried to avoid saying it, but they both knew what she meant. At this time of year, when he might shut down completely and not be able to do any work. No, I'll check him out and see whether it's a case I want to take on. And I'll warn him I might need to take a few days off around the holiday. People are usually pretty good about it if you let them know. Set expectations. He was doing really well this year on the new med protocol. At this time last year, he'd been in the hospital psych ward, unable to deal with the depression and control the thoughts of self-harm without professional help. But that was last year. He was much better this year. The anniversary of the fire, that Christmas Eve disaster, was quickly approaching. It was a struggle to keep his spirits up and function at the same level as he did the rest of the year, and he dreaded slipping further into the abyss. But he was functional. The work, especially the novelty of the new case, would help him stay focused on something other than the traumatic memories. If he had to take a few days off, he could do that. It wasn't unusual for someone to take a few days off work for family around Christmas. His client would think nothing of it. I just don't want you to be overwhelmed, Kenzie said. It might be better if you didn't take too much on until after, maybe in the new year. It isn't too much, he assured her. I mean, depending on what it is. If it's too big and he needs answers in 2 days, that's another story. But most people are not in a big hurry. You'll be careful? Yes, of course I will. Kenzie nibbled her marmalade toast and studied him a little too closely. Zachary's face warmed. Did I miss a spot shaving? He asked, brushing his hand over his face to break the eye contact and allow him to look away. Or are you just admiring my manly scars? The numerous small cuts from the explosion were healing, but it would be a while before they were all gone. 1 or 2 of the deeper ones that had needed stitches might leave scars. Nothing that bad. They would blend in with his other scars. And when he let his whiskers grow for a few days, as he usually did, they would be camouflaged. Kenzie smiled and shook her head. It might be the manly scars, she said lightly. I just can't seem to tear my eyes away. He blushed further, even knowing she was teasing him. His ears burned and were probably bright red. She dropped the conversation thread and didn't insist that she knew better than he did about managing his business at this difficult time of year. Need to get caught up on the Zachary Goldman series? If you're just starting the series, you can download book number 1, She Wore Mourning, at my e-store. You can find that at shop.pdworkman.com. If you've missed a few of the last few books, then you can always pick up the bundle of cases 14 through 16, or You can purchase the full series of 1 through 16 as one bundle and save 50% on that. Or you can pick up the bundle that includes both the Zachary Goldman series and the Kenzie Kirsch medical thriller series, which intertwines with the timeline. Again, you get about 50% off if you're going to buy them all together. And you can pick up any of those deals at my e-store, shop.pdworkman.com, or you can pick up the smaller bundle at any of the online retailers. So pick up your copy of He Was Deceived, book number 18 in the Zachary Goldman Mysteries series today at shop.pdworkman.com or any of the online retailers. And let me know what you think. Leave a review, a comment, share with your friends who might enjoy the series. I would really appreciate it. All right. Thank you.